Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Niche Netflix podcast. I'm joined with my co-host Joseph,
Hello.
and today we're going to be reviewing the film Warrior. We're going to go through a few scenes from the film, and to begin with, Joseph's just going to tell us a few facts to familiarise everyone.
Yes, right. So obviously, the film we have here is called Warrior. The director is by someone called Gavin O'Connor, and the cast consists of Tom Hardy, Nick Nolte, and Joel Edgerton.
Do you know
Uh,
if Gavin O'Connor's done any other films that I might know?
uh, no, I've never heard of him,
Yeah, I
but
hadn't
he
heard of
might have
him
done other
either.
films.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hadn't heard of Warrior before you mentioned it, so
no. Well, I didn't know it. So I went on Netflix, typed up Tom Hardy because I was like, oh, I was in the
yeah,
mood for a Tom Hardy film. And that come up, I was like, oh, should go on.
yeah, fair enough. Okay,
So basically, it's about two brothers who enter an MMA fighting competition to win the prize money of $5 million. Um, the budget was $25 million, but actually only made $23 million when it first came out.
yeah. See, I didn't see his film in cinemas. I know it was 2011, but still.
Yeah,
I couldn't say I've ever heard of this film before. You saw it on
no,
Netflix, so maybe the budget was a bit
no,
low or something. I'm not sure.
yeah. But the film actually received a lot of positive reviews from critics, and Nick Nolte was nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, I do believe he got a quite favourable review from Rotten Tomatoes with an 83%. I
Yeah, dude.
think.
Yeah, 80%.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not
got
bad.
90 something for user. So
Yeah, it's not bad.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
let's go on to our first scene. So actually, before we start, I'll just mention that we're going to go through a few of our least favourite and favourite scenes from the film, and we're
Yep,
both going to give our opinions and whether we agree with each other or not. So
yep,
I'll start. This is the first scene of the film. This is where we get introduced to two of the main characters, the dad and one of the sons. I didn't feel like I had an emotional connection between either of the characters to form an actual feeling of what was happening in the scene. As you could see from the subtitles in the picture, they reflected on family and whatever before, and so I just didn't really know what to think because I didn't really know anything, and the music was quite misleading as well, I'd have to say. So,
mm.
do you agree, Joseph? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I agree, and I agree. Right at the start, the cinematography was very good. The bit in the car, I thought that was very good.
Yeah, there was a
And I
bit
agree with
earlier
you.
on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If there wasn't any music, probably would have been a bit better
Yeah,
because, like, obviously, you don't feel a connection to them yet. I did
yeah,
later on, but not right now.
it probably would have
Um,
let it up to your own interpretation and whatever.
yeah, I mean, I thought the acting was pretty good there from like, Tom Hardy and Nick Nolte.
Yeah, not bad.
Um, yeah, and yeah, the music was a bit misleading. You meant to go, oh, what a sad moment, but you don't know anything about them yet.
Yeah, there's nothing really to know. Okay,
Mm.
on to the second scene that we've chosen. Joseph, do you want to start by going through your opinions on the scene?
Yeah, I will. I mean, yeah, I thought this scene was a very good scene. Probably one of the first good scenes. Um, because I like how the acting was pretty good, and at the start the wife was like standing taller, so like dominance, and now she was in control. But then, sort of partway through, she went down to below his level, so like she caved in. He was in control now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This was one of the first technically good scenes, especially
Mm.
with the dominance and stuff. And the wife's acting is probably the most solid throughout the film. I'd have to say.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, this was kind of emotional as well, especially involving the kids and whatnot. So
and you've also got the color thing we talked about. Like
yeah,
Tom Hardy is filming like dark and gritty, but with him it's more like light and sunny. And,
yeah, I think we'll talk about that in one of the other scenes.
yeah.
I think it's actually this scene actually. So yeah,
Mhm.
Tom Hardy. I like this scene for another reason, but to start off, I'll say Tom Hardy is usually wearing some sort of like kind of brighter colours, like not dark. Um, so that kind of represents him as a kind of good character, or maybe like developing good, because he used to be an alcoholic, obviously, and it
Yeah,
seems he's got better and talking with his sons again. Whilst the other son, on the
yeah,
other hand, always wore like black, and he was kind of the kind of gritty, um, kind of hard one.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and and on the other hand, the son we see in this picture on the left, he was always kind of wearing blue but with black over the top. So it kind of
yeah.
showed his two separate lives with his bankruptcy, but also his kind of family life and
Family.
whatnot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which Tom Hardy doesn't have.
Joseph, do you want to say the emotional thing and the acting thing about the scene?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the best acting in the whole film.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best scenes in the film, if I'm being honest. You start to feel very sorry for the dad, but also a bit sorry for the sons. You're like, well, I don't know to feel sorry for and who not to like.
Yeah, I'd say this
Um,
is definitely a lot more emotional than the first scene. Um,
yeah,
especially as now we know a bit more about both characters and whatnot.
yeah. I mean, the music was also toned down, made it a bit. I mean, the music was there, just not as loud and
Yeah.
a lot of putting.
Yeah, I'd agree. It didn't really get in the way. I'd also
Yeah,
say the bit at the end of the scene where he sees his grandchildren that he hadn't seen in what was it like 5 years before they were
yeah. I mean,
born.
he hasn't even met one.
Yeah,
And
he
it was
hasn't even met
the
one. He didn't
youngest
even
one.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, that scene was really good overall and definitely
yeah.
emotionally impactful.
Mm,
Okay. Joseph, do you want to take this scene?
yep. I mean, I thought this was probably one of the worst scenes in the film. I mean, it was all right. It wasn't terrible, but it's the worst one in the film.
Definitely the worst
Mostly
visual.
because,
This
yeah,
scene.
yeah. I mean, the montage goes on for too long, in my opinion. It seems to drag out.
About five
Um,
minutes.
yeah, feels more like a trailer, like you said when we were watching it.
And the music
Um,
as well. Before you mentioned the
yeah,
music, definitely felt like a trailer.
yeah,
Was it
yeah,
Beethoven? Was that
yeah. It
this
was
bit?
Ode to Joy or something.
Yeah, Osa Joy, which
Yeah,
I mean, I get it was a running theme throughout the film because it was one of the sons
it's like
like
walkout
warm up
music.
music. Yeah, yeah. But it didn't really suit this. I suppose you could kind of relate it, but I didn't really feel it there. Anyway,
Mm. Yeah, and it was also they were overlapping. You couldn't really hear what's going on. There were ones popping up and then being taken away like that. It was Pop John to look at.
I can kind of commend it for being a good kind of bridge point. I think it was about the middle of the film, or maybe
Yeah, it's
just
when they're
before the
training for the
fight.
fight. Yeah,
Yeah,
the competition. I mean,
so it kind of played an alright role there, but I definitely felt it was too much overall and very unnecessary.
yeah, too long as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This scene, I didn't really like either. Uh, as you can tell before we start, the color coordination that we predicted earlier had kind of faded out and kind of lost its control near the end.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and also this scene is on a beach for some reason. Um, and
Mm.
the lighting behind it doesn't make it look particularly. I don't really know what they were going for. That's the point here.
Mm.
I get the brothers have to meet up at some point for some sort of emotional impact, but I don't think it was completely necessary for the beach and being alone on the beach at night. It seemed a little bit too much.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I thought the acting was pretty good in it, and I thought, no, yeah, like you said, I feel it was a bit like thrown in to be like, all right, yeah,
yeah.
we get it. Like, we don't get on.
I
They've
definitely
had a fight.
say, I definitely say the acting wasn't bad throughout the whole film. I don't think there was any part that really
No,
lacked it. There was
no,
definitely better parts though.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a bit, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So this was one of the last scenes in the film. This
yeah. I think,
is one of the best
sec-
fights, I think.
yeah,
And the audio design here was really good. We thought that
yeah,
when punches were thrown, it was really impactful.
yeah.
When the
They
ref,
weren't like they weren't like the cartoon punches, which is like
yeah,
they weren't like that. It was like,
yeah, yeah. But Joe, do you want to go? Do you want to go and say the faults with the scene?
yeah. I mean, the camera, it was like it was like switching angles every like second or something. It was quite jarring to look at, and the camera was quite shaky as well. I don't know if they did that on purpose to make it like handheld.
Yeah.
It was quite like it wasn't nice to look
It
at.
was supposed to be kind of realistic, I guess, but it didn't really suit it. It felt a bit too much,
No,
you
I
know.
mean if the whole film was filmed like that, then I get it, but like
Yeah,
it wasn't.
yeah. Do you want to go on about say? Do you want to go on to say about the crowd?
Yeah, I mean I think the crowd. There was a realistic noise. It could have been toned down. It was a bit too loud. It was like off-putting off the fight.
And
So I thought you could really hear.
it didn't even feel realistic, which is what I think they were going for. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was weird. Also,
yeah,
the commentators kept chipping in every like two
yeah. It's
seconds
a
or
bit
so, which
annoying.
I don't think it necessarily suited it. I know it was kind of to make it kind of in the moment, but I think it could have done without it.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's go on to our final ratings.
Yeah.
Joseph, do you want to go through yours first and explain why you put an 8.5?
Yeah, so I gave it an 8.5 because I thought throughout the whole thing was very the pacing was very good. It was very consistent. The acting was very good in it. I don't think no one was really bad. Didn't really have any people standing out because they were bad,
Hmm.
but no one standing out because they were really good because they were all pretty good.
Yeah.
I also gave it an 8.5 because the ending was very good. I like the way they did it. It's a very powerful bit.
Yeah, I know you're a fan of the
Um,
ending.
yeah, I'm a fan of the ending, and but obviously there's faults in it, which is why it doesn't get a 10 out of 10. You know, the
Yeah.
montage scene, um, the bit on the beach, it seems a bit thrown in last minute,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I can agree. I gave it a
yeah,
7 out of 10, a bit lower than Joseph's, because I thought, like, it was still good. As Joseph said, the acting was good. Not the music was one of the faults. I think it was not very consistent. Sometimes it played a decent role, and sometimes it just
yeah,
didn't match up.
yeah. I mean, there
Um,
was one point, and yeah, I mean, there was one point it was like fight music, and it just cut like a guitar solo.
yeah, and yeah, some of the music was kind of cheesy, and it went into like an acoustic guitar ballad, which you're right, that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
weird.
yeah,
Um, some other faults include, I mean, I did like the color coding at the start, but if they'd kept with it, I think it would have suited them a lot better, and it would have stayed.
hmm,
Um,
yeah,
I also think the camera was pretty good. I like the aesthetic of the film uh, pretty much all the way through,
yeah,
but I think the camera near the end kind of got a bit too much and overdone.
hmm,
Um, so yeah, there was stuff I liked about the film, but I couldn't say it was perfect, so that's why I gave it a 7 out of 10.
yeah. But it was enjoyable. It was
Yeah, it
enjoyable.
was pretty good. And
Yeah,
Tom Hardy starring in it definitely did boost it, I'd imagine.
yeah.
Well, that was our
Yep,
rating and review, scene by scene, of the film Warrior.
yep,
Um, I've been Duncan. He's been
yep,
Joseph.
yep.
Uh, leave any recommendations in the comments for any films you'd like to see reviewed by us. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Yep.